Welcome back from the break, Rams, and to the Waiver Wire Week 11 edition. We're almost over the bye week hump in fantasy, with the Broncos and Rams being the only two teams with byes in Week 11. Still, though, with these two teams out, fantasy owners are going to need replacements for guys like Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Melvin Gordon, and Darrell Henderson, and they're going to need them fast. Tonight, I have two key players on waivers that can still easily help you to a much-needed victory with only 4 weeks left until the postseason. Let's start things off with a happy reunion. Everyone loved those, right? As you've probably already heard on Thursday, Super Cam is back with the Carolina Panthers in a shocking mid-season reunion. Doesn't that make your heart happy to see him back in a Panthers uniform? I know it definitely makes me smile as a football fan. Just take a look at his first snap back in Carolina for yourself. Needless to say, he was hyped to be back.
Re-signed with the Panthers on Thursday. Just 3 days ago. McCaffrey split out wide to the right. Newton takes the snap, and he is in for a Panthers touchdown. Yes, he is. Wow.
And well, with that, even though P.J. Walker got most of the reps in their win against the Cards yesterday, Newton was still in goal line sets, which automatically gives him scoring potential. In his first game in 2021, Cam put up 11.72 fantasy points, which isn't that much for a quarterback, but you have to look at it like this. He only played a handful of snaps and still averaged 2 points a touch? Ultimately going for 8 passing yards and a TD pass with 14 rushing yards on 3 attempts with a touchdown run to go along with it. Head coach Matt Rule also announced today that Newton will handle most of the number 1 practice reps heading into Week 11 against the Washington football team, putting his scoring potential even higher. I like Newton as a replacement for Stafford for this bye week, especially with the Washington football team allowing the 3rd most rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks and the 6th most rushing yards. He is a borderline QB2 in most leagues, but I think he could have a big game against Washington. Unlike Teddy Bridgewater, he is not afraid to put his head in there and get physical, which only means great things for fantasy owners when it comes to his rushing production. At least for me, I'm starting Newton this week because I have Stafford in one of my leagues and I do need a QB. I highly recommend you do the same if you don't have any better options. And now moving on to running backs, for my other player of the night, Ramadre Stevenson of the New England Patriots has been on an absolute tear these last 2 weeks, running 20 times for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns and adding another 14 yards on 4 catches in their blowout win against the Browns. The versatile back got more touches this week than he usually does with Damian Harris out, but even with him in the lineup, the rookie from OU still gets a good amount of reps and yards. In Week 9, when both he and Harris were healthy, he had 10 rushes on 62 yards and 44 receiving yards on only 2 catches. Right now, Stevenson is only owned in 29% of leagues, but that number should easily double with the Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry injuries the last few weeks. Not to mention, coming off this beastly performance, and if Harris is back on the Thursday night against Falcons, Stevenson still has some flex appeal in the next matchup against the Atlanta Falcons, who just allowed Ezekiel Elliott to rush for 41 yards and 2 scores, and I expect much of the same for Stevenson. And if the Patriots can blow out the Falcons like the Cowboys did, expect a lot of carries for Stevenson come Thursday night. I have Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry in one of my leagues, so I already made a claim for Stevenson, and I think you should do too if you need the depth moving forward. He has a lot of potential in a conservative and run-heavy New England offense under rookie quarterback Mac Jones. With it already being Week 11 in the NFL season, not many people think they could find solid players on waivers, but that simply isn't true. Any of these two guys can help you to a victory and help you lead you back to the playoffs, even if you're in a rough shape right now. And if you just can't get enough of my fantasy insight, make sure to check out my weekly article on the Collegian that's out digitally on Wednesday and on print on Thursday. But don't go anywhere just yet. Ella has some more CSU news for you on Where to Watch. I did.